coming to you live from the Commonwealth of Virginia. It's a rush hour with the Davis family. And now here is your host, Jamie Davis.
A little delayed tonight in trying to get this going here, guys. Thank you so much for joining us on the Davis Rush Hour. Just trying my best to figure out how in the world. There we go. Turn down the sound there. We'll get the camera up here in just a second. But we hope you've had a great start to the week. It's Monday, January the 25th. I can't believe we are in the last full week of the month. But it is great to see everybody today. It's great. There we go. Transitioning all this stuff here. It's great to see everybody online tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. Our topic for tonight is going to be part of the Memory Lane Monday theme, is to talk about our cars, the old cars, the clunkers, or the gems that we finally got to own in our adult life. I'm Jamie Davis, my wife Dana. Our son Aiden is somewhere offline, but maybe he's getting online tonight because this is a topic that he would enjoy quite a bit. But how's everybody's week been? Or I should say week. It's only Monday. Feels like it's been a week already with Monday. But it's great to see Monday. It's good to see another day in the Lord's creation. So we are going to be talking about cars here in just a few moments. But anybody got anything exciting that's happened this week so far? This day 2 of the week? Nothing to share?
No.
Nothing to share? Okay.
Survive Monday.
You survive Monday. That's usually the way it is. So let's check in to see who is online tonight. We have Luke Weekly. Hey, Mr. Luke, good to talk to you, sir. Gary Bennett has arrived. Also got Sandy Statham on. Janice East. Hey. And Janice says, hey, sweet lady, to you.
Hey, Janice, excuse me.
Yeah, please forgive. We are kind of in the coming off of the dinner hour tonight. So we'll get started here with our first question of the night, as we've been talking that our subject matter is going to be that of automobiles. If you don't mind sharing with us tonight, what was your first vehicle that you've ever had? If you saw our title slide tonight before the music started, you'll see that both of us shared what our first vehicle was. Dana, I'm going to let you go first. What was that blue vehicle? And I'll see if I can pull it up here for people to see a picture.
It was an AMC Concord.
An AMC Concord.
I have no idea what year. This wasn't the exact car, but it's the exact color.
Let's see if I can pull this up for the others to see, because it was an interesting vehicle.
I remember it being more rounded.
Compared to what?
Like the back end is the one you're going to show.
Compared to what I put on the image tonight, you mean?
Yeah, but I couldn't find one.
Let's see if I can do this. Yeah, we're going to look this up. We'll see if I can pull up the browser here that we were looking at tonight with that information. Yeah, I don't think that I recall what that was whenever she gave me the picture of it.
Sorry, I just saw a comment.
You know, go ahead. Look at it.
Well, there's a bunch on here, but Mandy said... Best vehicle ever.
Who, Dana's?
I think
the Blue Bomber?
Were you talking about the Blue Bomber? Or you had a good vehicle too.
This is where I wish that we could get people to share and post their pictures in the comments. I think that would be the best way of doing it. So we're looking at the AMC Concord car.
Yeah.
And we'll see if we can somehow...
The picture I sent you was like it.
All right, so give us a second. We're going to pull that up. My first car, while we're pulling up Dana's, was a...
put it in two-tone blue.
Two-tone blue. Got that right here. My first car was a 1969 Plymouth Satellite. Looking back, I'm going to say that I wish I could have somehow kept that one, because considering the number of cars that have been restored in the last few years, it is just incredible at how, that car would, just be latched onto. At the time that I owned it, it wasn't something that I loved at all.
There's so many screens.
Yeah, we'll try to do it where they can just see this
Maybe
one
that's how
here.
maybe that monitor is.
All right, here we go. We'll see if we can pull this up here.
It, Mandy said yes, Blue Bomber. That
Go ahead.
no, I was trying to see. I was gonna ask, because we need to start looking at comments of other people's cars too. But
Yeah, I'm going to jump to that. Here. Hi, Judy and Dave over on Facebook. Thank you so much for tuning in. I've got to make sure that I flip over to the Facebook thing, but I do see your comments coming in on our screen here. Well, we don't want to watch a video here. Let's
no,
see.
yeah, that's a video.
Open that.
That one, I don't know if it was that year, but
I'm trying to
I
figure
feel
out how
like
to
it
pull this
wasn't
up.
that. See how it's that one's square at the end.
Yeah, for some reason I've lost the image here that I had for you this afternoon. I'm going to see if I can still share this browser.
I think it was that. Still, it was that one, but you just kind of took the picture.
I throw the, what if I just threw the link? What if we do that and just show them a
Gotcha.
link to it?
But mine might have been.
Would you do screenshot it, or how'd you do that?
No, I just shared it with you.
All right, let's see if I can go to the desktop here and pull it back up, because I know.
Because it was a video. It's a video on YouTube. Because I'm like, I didn't.
Well, somehow or another, we did have this today because I pulled it up.
Well, can you just? I would go on.
Yeah, I guess we'll just have to pull that one up a little bit later. I had a couple of images there, and it wouldn't let me do. It just won't let me pull it up the way I want to. That's a bummer. But if you get a chance, just Google a 1979 AMC Concorde.
But I don't know if it was that
It
year.
may not have been necessarily that year, but it was one that certainly can get a good idea of what she had. And if you look up mine, it was a 1969 or a Plymouth Satellite. So let's go back through the comments here. I know I got to play catch up here on some of these. Gary Bennett had a '63 Chevy pickup. I've always been partial to the older trucks. I think that if we could always get one of those, it would be. I think Aiden would absolutely love it. Mm-hmm. Mandy saying that yours was the best vehicle ever. Light switch on the floor. Okay. Oh yeah. Is that the one that had the little knob? That's I'm looking up here at that. The little knob about that big that's on the ground where you would do the high beams or low beams for the switches.
I think so. I can't remember. I just know that it would when we slow. Sometimes we would slow down and stop at a stoplight, like outside the mall,
Mhm.
and it might smoke. So it was. So like if we saw a car full of cute guys, we would just keep riding because we wanted to park and have the car smoke.
See what she did whenever she was in school.
I mean, we didn't do anything. We just drove around in the car. But I think we could fit at least 5, maybe 6. I can't remember.
Let's see. Luke Weekly says a bright yellow Ford Fiesta. It was a 200 car that had a 400 stereo system. Wow.
Or did you see?
Oh goodness! What year was the Fiesta, Luke? What year was that one? I'd be interested to see it. I know they brought the Fiesta back in the last decade or so, but let's see. Mandy talking about her first one.
Did you see Janice?
Janice with a '56 Chevy. Really? That would be a beautiful car to have today. I don't think I see too many of those out there. When we go to the car show here in Chester during the summer, I don't think I've ever seen a '56. Let's see here. Mandy says her first car was a '76 Buick Regal. Share it with Eddie. Yeah, I'm blessed to say that I didn't have to share one, but I think that if my stepbrother had wanted to share it, I don't know that he necessarily would have taken it. So let's see, going on through here. Adam Davis says he had a '90s model Chevy Corsica. Yes. That I wrecked on my way home to West Virginia after visiting Heather for a weekend. Oh. The 4-door, I think the Corsica was like the 4-door version of well, I shouldn't say version, but the Corsica was 4-door, and then the Beretta was a 2-door, but they were about the same size. Beretta. Yeah, I remember y'all having that Beretta.
Well, it wasn't mine, but yeah.
And then Mandy said the first one I personally owned was a '93 Mustang.
Yeah, that's what I drove that in parking lots because of the stick. It was a stick.
Did you have the Mustang whenever I came up here, Mandy?
I don't think so.
Or did you have it whenever you're freed? No, I guess. I'll be interested to see. Yeah. Well, let's
remember.
see. Luke says a red Chevy El Camino. The El Camino has grown on me in years. I didn't like it as a kid, but I think the way people really take care of them now and restore them.
This one looks like it's a car, but looks like a truck. Like it's got the bed,
Yeah,
right?
it's the best of both worlds.
Well, I had a neighbor that had one, and when I was little, and my friend and I, the daughter, we would we were school teachers. And we'd play, and that was our classroom. When it was parked in front of the house, so we played in the back of it. It was fun.
No, she didn't say she made a pool out of the back of it.
No,
No.
that was our. We just played. Anyway, imaginations back then.
All right, so Dave Marshall had a 1951 Chevy black 4-door 3-speed.
Right.
I'm going to Google some of these just to get the an idea of what we had here. Let's see here. I'm sorry, I got a message coming through here. Just a moment. Hey, Rhonda Williams, good to see you. An orange Bobcat. I got to Google that one too because I do have a vague memory of those back in Chattooga County. So Judy Marshall, she had a 69 Mercury Cougar blue with white vinyl top, automatic tranny with console shifter. It's funny she mentions the white vinyl top because how many cars back in the, I guess, 60s, 70s, and I guess the 80s had that vinyl top? We're not talking about a convertible, but
Oh no, I know what you're talking about.
just like whether it was just like the back quarter of the hood or the roof rather.
We had a Monte Carlo. That
I know there's some
that's
Thunderbirds that were
I
like
think,
that.
is that what Blue Bomber looked like? See
Cougar too.
the picture of Blue Bomber? Part of that
Yeah,
was like that.
that's true. Yep.
But I think we had a Monte Carlo.
I remember people who had that really
Had that, I
struggled
think.
to keep it in good shape because it would crack. It would crack quite a bit. So, keeping my eyes on the comments
I don't want to
here.
miss anything, but Heather asked Mandy about Brown Sugar. I forgot that car was named Brown Sugar. Her first car.
Okay, that's. Let's see, a '96 Mustang when I came. Okay, I was wondering about that. Let's see
So
Janice says she later got a Mustang, a 1995 Mustang. Okay, that's pretty close to. I think Chad has a '96 or '7.
yeah, I can't remember years. Sometimes that's bad.
If Aiden were up here, he'd be able to tell us. I mean, he's the car genius in our household. I can do
He has
some
been
work.
since he was
but-
like 2.
yeah,
Well, he was still in a booster seat.
yeah. We're not talking about like
Like he could tell a car down the road by its headlights when he was 2 years old, from
yeah.
in the dark, see the shape of it.
I've always been impressed with people who could do that. That they could look at a car and say what year it was, and I think there's only a handful of those that I could do today. If a particular make and model came down the road, I would say, yeah, it's about a 89 or 90 or whatever. So,
And she said she had a '96 Mustang when you came. See, I can't remember. It's sad. I'm losing my memory.
Luke says the subtitles are funny. He said every time that I say Beretta, it says Loretta. Yeah, I guess closed captioning doesn't pick up on my southern accent or whatever's left of my southern accent. All right, so the next question we have here is, if you don't want to answer, I understand. Don't be ashamed.
Do I even know this one?
Is how many vehicles have you owned? And let me move this question over so we can get it all on here. Have you owned? And I do put the caveat, not all at once. So, certainly don't have to tell me all. That you had them all at once. I don't think this question's going to fit here.
How many vehicles have you owned? What's the
Not all at once.
You mean over in total?
In total, like if since let's say you started driving in 1991, like I did, and if you had to go through the list, how many vehicles have you owned? And I'm ashamed to say at my age I've owned a lot. And I'm not talking about if we don't merge husband and wife.
Well, I can include mine that I have now though.
Yeah,
I think 6.
6.
I think Blue Bomber, my Geo Prism. Then I went to my Camaro. Then I went to the Altima. Then I went to my Escape, and now I'm at my Acadia. That's 6, yes. I think that's right.
I'm looking this one
I
up.
don't think I missed a vehicle.
Wanda Russell was saying that she had a Vega. This is what I should have been doing the
Oh, there
entire
she is.
time that I was doing this. Okay, yeah, all right. The Vega, I got it. The Chevrolet Vega.
Like that one right there?
No, not that. Yeah.
It looks
See,
like,
see, Wanda,
looks
we
like
looked up.
Spider-Man would drive that one.
Yeah, we looked up,
That's
know,
cool.
Vega, and the second car in the pictures that we have here, it looks like a supercar or an exotic car, like
That's it.
a Ferrari
that's in
or
Sri
something.
Lanka.
yeah. But okay, yeah, that would have been a kind of a cool car to have had as
Yeah, that's
growing up
neat.
in our time. Yeah.
I like that one, the gold one.
Luke says 9. Gary says 11. Mandy says too many to count. I did a post
I'm eating again.
back during the summer when or spring or summer when people were doing these Facebook things, like list all the cars that you've owned, and I think I included one that really wasn't mine, but I got an opportunity to drive it. But between the Satellite, like an 86 Ford Escort, this is gonna be fun. 3 Cavaliers in a row, 88, 89, and 98. Then a Ford Ranger. The motor blew up on it, and I got an 86 Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme. And after that, and then with that, a 98 Dodge Dakota Sport, which took me to a 2001 Ford F-150. Then
I still wish I had that
the
one.
Ford Focus, and then after that, I did get a little truck, a little 1994 Mazda B3000, and then finally what I have today is a Nissan Frontier. So it's, yeah, I didn't count, but it wasn't pretty. But there were some good vehicles in there, and like Dana said, there's
Did
one.
you count the car?
Which one?
You had a car you bought from John's mom.
That's the Oldsmobile.
Then you had the white car truck. Then you had the.
Mhm.
Okay. Apparently, I didn't listen. Sorry.
See, evidence on Facebook. She doesn't listen to me.
I didn't say don't listen. I didn't then. I was eating.
We back it up a little bit here. Let's see. Dave says 28. Dave, I saw your list whenever you were showing me on Sunday, and that was an impressive list. But that's also what you put there that you have owned over time. So, and maybe even driven too. But 9 and 23 years. I think, Adam, I'm pretty close to that. And Lawanda looked that up and said, not that nice on that car. 6 were considered yours, Sandy. Okay. Rhonda, let's see if I can pull that up here. Hold on just 1 second.
I think I've only had one that I've paid off in full.
The Mercury Bobcat. Okay. Okay. Is the
Oh, that
Bobcat,
one's okay.
is it like a,
Well, it must look
I'm gonna-
like.
I'm gonna use
I'm
a
not-
word
like
here.
You're gonna say Pinto.
I was going to say a Pinto, and that's not
Yeah,
an
it looks
insult.
like I didn't think it was
Yeah.
a Pinto. Hey, a car is a car.
How many people would want a Pinto today?
I would take it if it didn't. I mean,
I would
shoot.
take a Pacer or a Gremlin just to say I had it, because it was it may have been a lemon back then, but it was still something. Let's see
I
here,
wish I had my Camaro.
Judy. So yeah, Rhonda, thank you
So
for the
that-
picture on that. Yeah, that's what we were saying. It looks like a Pinto. Judy says 11. Janice had a 76 Malibu.
I drove a Malibu, but it wasn't that year. But mine was like a loaner rental. That's right. I liked the newer
That's-
Malibu when I drove it for a little while.
That's a
remember?
big car. But that was, now, Janice, was it a station wagon or was it the just the 2-door? Because I do see a 76 Malibu wagon. I mean, that's a lot of horsepower.
We
man.
did Starsky and Hutch drive because that one kind of favors. It makes me think of that show, and it probably wasn't anything like that.
I don't know.
The paint job on that one, anyway.
Right, Rhonda. Rhonda
Sorry.
was saying not a Pinto. Yeah, you're right. It's not a Pinto. We were just saying.
There was one picture of the back. And it was another one too.
Yeah,
the back end looked like it.
Right. The back of it kind of made us wonder if
The
it was
one
like
photo
that.
we
So.
saw.
All right, so now the question is, with all of these cars that you have had over time, but we'll even extend it here for just a moment to not just what you've owned, but also what you've driven. Because maybe you've just been fortunate, and out of these 11, 9, whatever cars that you've had, maybe they were all good. But what was the worst vehicle that you have ever owned or driven?
Are you asking me?
Well, we're
The
part
worst?
of the worst.
Okay, forgive me. I did not like your what's that car?
With the Focus?
Yeah, I didn't like it.
All right, so that was.
I think and it's just because I'm so used to an SUV now. I didn't like being so low to the ground, and then I had to pump the seat up. And I couldn't see over the steering wheel in your car because it was like a bucket,
Yeah.
and it was too easy to hit the pedal. And I knock wood, didn't get a ticket, but you did. I don't know.
I did.
It was just something about it. Maybe it's because I liked the truck you had and got that in place. I mean, maybe I just resented the car.
Yeah. Listen, it was a Ford. It was a 2013 Ford Focus, and
It was
honestly,
a pretty car, though.
yeah, I mean, it was a beautiful blue car. I probably will say this, put it on the bottom of my list just because it was. We got it under difficult, just weird circumstances. I was trying to find something that would be affordable to drive all over Virginia for my job, and let's put it this way: great gas mileage, had a lot of get up and go for a 4-cylinder. For me, it was too much get up and go because I think I got 2 or 3 tickets on that. Not even realizing that I was going that fast. It was just a comfortable car though as far as driving, but it did end up at the end having problems with transmission. There was something to do with the gas tank, and I turned it in and just like I can't do it anymore. The irony of it is 3 weeks later there was a recall on what was wrong with it. But then again, I can't complain with the truck we got on it there. So
No, we like your truck.
all right, hi Maria, how are you doing tonight? Let's see. Luke says Dodge Spirit. All right, gotta remember what the Dodge Spirit looked like. But let's see, Dodge. The Dodge Spirit. Okay. Got a little sedan here. So what was Luke? What would you say was the issue there for you as far as the Spirit? Was it just a clunker? Did it just bad gas mileage? Just not enough power? What was the case for that one? I got to go back because I saw Lamar had something there. Lamar, I told us he had 11. First came from Howell Cars in Penville. Yes, I do remember that place. That's the thing, Lamar. Going back through, Tryon and Somerville, Penville, and just that area. It's disheartening to think about all the things that were down through there in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, and it's not there anymore. And that's one of those places. I was trying to, but I don't think Howell Cars is there anymore. I go through there so quickly now. Mom lives in Lafayette, so let's see what we have here. Pinto is small. Janice, you're right. I mean, they were small, but probably a great car to have for the to get around in back in the 70s and 80s. Andy says there's something special liked about all of your cars. Yeah. I think you don't get a car unless you really are attached to it. All the cars and trucks that I've owned, I will say that I've enjoyed them. They might not have been something that Dana would have picked for me or whatever, but they were fun. They were fun vehicles. Outside of mine, what would be your least favorite?
Oh, well, that wouldn't. I didn't mean to be ugly about that.
No, I know. We owned it. I mean, but
it was just
outside
like,
of that one.
well, see, I don't know. Because I liked all my cars, certain things that were about them. Like the Blue Bomber was fun, but I didn't like it smoking every time I stopped. And then, got...
That's
but
never
then,
a good thing.
What was another thing? Oh, my Escape. I loved my car, but it started messing up. I mean, the transmission was replaced, and we found out it had been replaced before I ever bought it, which we didn't know.
Yeah.
And
that was from a
then
dealership.
the back
so.
hatch wouldn't, the back wouldn't
Yeah.
open. But then it was like weird, something weird with it. Remember?
Yeah, we could never get it to open. We always had to go through the
Yeah.
the
and
actual.
I can't. Yeah, just
front
little
of the
things
vehicle.
like that. I don't know. What about yours?
My worst, or
Did you already say that?
well, we mentioned the one thing I will say other than just the focus. And I got to get to comments here, but listen, I love this car because of how old and classic it was with the Plymouth Satellite that I mentioned earlier. But the problem I always had with that is that I couldn't, if I got to a stop sign or a traffic light, it would go dead. It would just go cold.
Kind of scary.
Also, the steering was so loose. I was telling Dave and Judy about this yesterday. It's so loose that you could just barely touch it and you'd be over in the lane. And I do remember driving down Old 27 in just north of Tryon, and I went into the lane for just a second and I cut back, and the guy that was coming at me pointed his finger at me, and I'll always remember that sign, that imagery of him doing that. He wasn't angry, but he was like, I see you there. You better watch yourself. Let's go back here. Gary Bennett says he had a Bonneville and a Concorde. Okay. And then, let's see, Wanda says the one from Mike Howell is a 74 Ford Mustang 2. Okay. Let's see, Rhonda says a baby blue Cadillac with no brakes. It was as big as a boat. What? Yeah, that was the thing about 60s and 70s vehicles. They were big until, sometime mid 70s and, into the 80s, things got smaller. I guess because the fuel, gas prices and stuff. The Dodge Aries station wagon Dave did not like. Manila Yellow. Oof. Yeah. Let's see. Mandy says that she had a 99 Altima that had to pop the clutch in the middle of the driving because the car would just shut off all the time, but she loved it. Now, how many people have ever had to do that, would pop the clutch? I mean, I don't think, can you do that with newer cars? I know automatic is pretty much all there is now, but there are very few manual transmission vehicles. But does anybody have to pop a clutch anymore?
I've never owned a stick. I've driven Mandy's.
I think I've had
That's about. I think that's about it.
I think the last time I did it was probably in the 90s. We were stuck on, let's see, in Pinville there, where the elementary school was. We were up there. We couldn't get a car to start. So we used the hill, because you had to go up the hill to get to the school, to pop a clutch. It was me and one of my friends. I can't remember which one it was. Let's see, Luke says it was ugly. You had to have 2 cylinder heads put on it. But both were cracked. That's what happened to the truck, and we couldn't. And
The Ranger.
Yeah, and it was, but apparently the damage was more than that because they wanted to replace the motor and they couldn't find one that would fit it. Mandy says just 2019 we were able to purchase our very first brand new car, so all of my other cars were used and loved. So there'll be a sub question there. Let's go ahead and ask that. If you have a choice today, would you go new or would you go old? Now, if you're a fan of Dave Ramsey, he will tell you should never buy a new car. He says that buy something that's slightly used, a few years old. And I guess now you could probably even go back longer than 5 years because the vehicles are pretty good. It's hard to work on some of them, but technology-wise, they're pretty good as far as the electronic fuel injection, or even some of the stuff on the inside with Bluetooth and all of those features, GPS and so forth. But
yeah, I think I've had 2 new cars. My Prism
and the Altima, right?
and the Altima,
Yeah.
which is funny. I didn't buy. I paid for them myself, and they were only in my name. But with the Prism, like my dad was with me to buy it, and the Altima, my papa was with me
Yeah, I remember that one. Whenever you did that.
they were trying to pull one over on me, and I was like, no, I'm not stupid. And anyway, that was a good one. I got 0% financing out from Nissan, so I walked away with a really inexpensive payment.
Piggybacking on
I don't know
Heather's.
how that happened.
Well, sorry. Piggybacking on what Mandy said, maybe the question or the answer's already there. But what did you get, Mandy? I hadn't followed up on that when
know,
Heather
I
asked
can't
that question.
remember.
Wanda says almost nothing around the old school grounds. Yeah, it's I think right now Penville is essentially Walmart, and I see where Dad said it isn't Howell's anymore, and I can't remember who it is. What is it now, Dad? Let's see. Dad says he had a 68 Z28, a 79 K5 Blazer, 65 Caddy, were some of his favorites. Yeah, the Z28, the Camaro is one that will always have a special place. It's the reason why I prefer a Camaro to the Mustang. And I know in a household where I have a son who loves Mustangs, and his uncle was owner of a Mustang.
I had a Camaro.
But Dana had a Camaro too. Yeah, she had a 95.
Yes.
95 convertible V6, but still.
I got it at 2 years old. Garage kept, and got it from Stress Snyder's. I could trust them. And the owner had bought it for his wife, and I think she became legally blind and couldn't drive anymore. So they had to turn it in. So I mean, it had been taken care of.
And we both have a conversation about that Camaro. It's one that if she had a wreck.
This might hit me.
Yeah, someone hit her, and she got scared. But I think I probably would have done the same thing too. But we both were like, "Wow, that'd be a great car to have now."
I was kind of emotional at the time.
Yeah.
It was like within the same week of my dad dying, so it was kind of, I wasn't in the right place in my,
All right, so Mandy is saying Sentra for her, and a Pathfinder 8 months later for Brent. Look at this, Nissan people.
Mm-hmm.
Got a Nissan Frontier. Good vehicles. After 22 years of marriage, about time. Hey, listen. What was it? It was in 2004 that we both got vehicles the same day. I got the Ranger. You got the Escape.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and they were both bad.
Yeah, they ended up being bad.
Both
I'm kind of questioning that
engines or
dealership
transmission.
now.
Well,
Yep.
they're not in business anymore, are they?
Well, they got merged with
Okay.
Crossroads. So, let's see. Luke says, my sister had an old black Pinto. Once the driver door wouldn't open, had to get in, let the Dukes of Hazzard. Let's see. And driver seat adjustment was broke, so put a cooler behind the seats. So, wow. That's, at that point, is it really even safe to drive, Luke? I mean, I realize if you got the cooler back there, it's not going anywhere, but it's it's kind of, all right.
Hey, comes in handy.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Dr. Pepper, whatever, get your drink.
Mandy says she loved having the stick. Didn't get an automatic until 2010. Was the white car that I drove of yours, Mandy, was that one manual or was that a stick? That was a Malibu, wasn't it? I can't remember now.
I'm concerned my memory is not as good as it used to be because I'm having trouble remembering all this.
Yes, Dad. The 86 Dodge Colt Pocket Rocket. That you got that the week Stevie was born, if I'm right. Correct me if I'm wrong on that one, Dad, but he is right.
This
with
ticket nightmare, he said?
Yeah, yes. I remember that you could hit that. I think if you hit 55 or 60, you could feel the turbo just kick in. It was an incredible ride, but he's right. With him driving back and forth to work, or even just going to Rome, I'm sure it was the easiest thing to get tickets in. Gary says old as long, and then Sandy says old as long as it runs well. Yeah. I've had this conversation with Aiden when it comes to vehicles, that if you found a car or a truck from a certain age, whether it's, we'll say it was the last 10 years, or maybe it was from the 90s or 80s, and if you loved that body style and you took good care of it, would you invest in just buying a crate engine or crate motor to just keep putting into it after you reach so many hundreds of thousands of miles? If you loved it that much, would that be worth it? I don't know. I'll defer to the car gurus that are on here, just because I'm not sure if it's worth spending the thousands upon thousands of dollars to buy brand new vehicles, or even used ones for that matter, because a used vehicle now is going to cost you about $15,000, $20,000, $25,000. And if you want a Tahoe or Suburban, you're still going to pay a premium for it. I'm just not sure if it's worth it. But anyway, but Gary, you're right. Loss of equity on a new one is not worth it. It really isn't. You consider how much you spend on it. If you just how much money and interest you put in it. It's just not worth it in the end. I was going to ask him what his favorite, what he would say was his favorite car of what we owned.
You don't have to get on camera. I just want to ask you a question about a car.
So all right. So Aiden's not on camera, but we're asking him about.
Mandy's watching.
So the question here we're asking right now is, what was the worst vehicle that was ever owned or driven? Now, granted, you've not owned or driven a car yet, but of the ones that we have owned
in a parking lot.
Well, okay, fine. He's only driven 2 vehicles. Yours are 2 current ones.
I wanted to clear that in case.
What were our worst vehicles in your mind?
Your Focus.
Nobody likes the Ford Focus. Okay.
Well, I liked it, just it was horrible.
Yeah.
You said the best.
That's not.
Well, we didn't ask the best,
My
but
favorite?
What
was your favorite? Yeah.
What's worse
Either
than
the
mine?
Ranger or the Dakota.
The Ranger or the Dakota?
You
Yeah.
wouldn't remember. I've only had 2 vehicles since he's been born.
Yeah, it's.
Been 14 years. Almost 15 years. 15.
We go through some of these questions
16
here, or
years
some of
I've
the
had
comments
2
here.
cars.
I want Brent to get an older 78, 79 F-150. Yeah. And I'm looking at Aiden too, because we agree. We like the
Yeah, you
older
like
trucks.
older trucks.
Yeah. Dave would have a 68 Ford
read the
Torino
comments?
GT.
I mean, 2.
I have seen a picture of this one recently. We'll show Aiden if he can look on our
The
monitor.
Mustang or the GT? Like the actual.
We say what year was that again? 68.
Yeah, Chad showed me one of those.
Well, there you go, right there.
Yeah.
See?
Ooh, what's that one? Oh, that's not the
This
same one.
is all the same thing. That's a pretty sweet looking car.
Is that the fourth
Dave,
one?
that's a beautiful car on
Is
the
that
68.
the one I'm looking at
on
up
the-
top,
the
the
Ford-
fourth one? Or is that different? That's different.
It's a 72, but still, I mean, it's not that far
Okay, I like
removed
that.
as far as the body style.
Is that what you call a hatchback, that one?
Fastback, you mean?
Fastback.
Yeah.
I don't know my stuff.
That's why we brought Aiden into the room to help us out when we speak. When we start talking about things that we don't understand, he'll help us out here. Aiden, let's see here what we got here. Rhonda says, in 87, my friend had a car that we had to push to get it started. I was 9 months pregnant, pushing her in her car. What? Pushing her in her car and having to run and jump in it so we wouldn't. Oh, goodness.
Never heard of that?
I've heard of that. I lived that, my friend. That's, I just feel sorry for her, though, on the 9 months pregnant part. That's not good. Oh, but what we did for our cars, yes. Mandy said the Sentra for me, Pathfinder for Brent. Yeah, all right. Judy says Judy would get a 2021 Jaguar F Pace in a sport green.
I remember this.
What? You don't want that? You wouldn't want that? No? Okay. Hey, Jaguars, I mean, come on. That is the next question coming up here, is your dream car, so I got to hold that one in just a moment. Gary says he bought a brand new one once and 3 days later went to another town to check the trade-in value, and it was down $7,000
Oh.
with less than 100 miles on it.
That's why you don't buy new.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
I didn't say. I knew you wouldn't. You're smarter than us.
Helen McDonald says she once rented a Geo Metro piece of junk. You know, in high school there was a couple of folks that would always talk about it, and whenever you said Geo Metro, the only thing they would ever say was, "Ugh."
Did have a Geo Prism.
That's a Prism, though.
Yeah, it was a Geo. I was just saying.
Mr. Hayes had a
And it was
Prism.
family.
They're not.
Mine was kind of cute.
Well, I mean, like a nice little sedan.
Mine had a little turbo button. A boost.
On the Geo.
No,
It did. And now I can't say how fast I went on here because
Never
I'm
had
not.
tickets, so.
Yeah. That little
You can
thing,
say
I'd hit
that.
the button and it. I
Yeah.
don't know. That was the very first car I bought by myself,
I tell you,
or bought. Period. I think.
love or hate the Geos. The Geo Metro was supposed to be one of those that got 50 miles to the gallon. So if you had one, you didn't have to worry about gas too much. The Prism was nice. The Tracker was
Tara had a
Suzuki
Storm.
ripoff, I guess. I don't know.
No, what's
The
funny,
Geo. Oh, that's right. The Geo Storm.
yeah, Tara had a red one, and we would get in that car and we would follow people. We call it probably stalking nowadays, but nobody would see us.
Take things you
And I'm
can't
like,
do in year 2021.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was very innocent. We would just,
Yeah.
and but nobody noticed us. And how do you not notice
Earmuffs, Aiden.
no, how would you not notice us in a red little car zipping around? Anyway, it was so much fun.
All right, Dad said it was Days Motor. There you go. So Lamar and Wanda, if you're still watching there, it's now Days Motors. I forgot that's what they changed it to. Heather Davis says that we bought a 2007 Hyundai Entourage 13 years ago. It was a year old when we bought it. Still have it.
Wow.
One sliding door won't lock or unlock with the remote anymore, and Adam recently ripped the other sliding door handle off. But she still runs great. I want a new vehicle, but this one won't die. Well, I will say that, watch for the next snowstorm, ice storm. Put it around a tree. No, I was going to say put it around a tree. That was the running
No,
joke
that's
at
too
work.
dangerous.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, it was an Impala. Thank you, Mandy. I couldn't remember. Yeah, it wasn't automatic.
Traumatic.
11 tickets in 2 months.
Oh my
Is
goodness.
are you exaggerating,
Papa
Dad?
me.
I'm talking about Lee Nix here for those who are watching or seeing on here. But Dad, are you serious? 11 tickets in 2 months. How were you able to drive still? I mean, how would you be able to go to work? Unless somebody was giving you a ride to Mount Vernon or Synthetic. I can't remember where you were at that particular point. I thought you went to Synthetic in '87 after that
Yeah,
vehicle
but
was
usually
going.
I think you would get a suspended license, right?
I guess. Well, we'll wait for him to tell us. All right, so see here.
Raymond.
Right, it replaced Howell. So Dad is what we were talking about. Sandy says that she loved her Focus. I smoked people all the time because it flew. Sandy, did you have just the regular SC? Did you have the RS or the ST? Right? Okay, just checking with my son. He's the aficionado there. Because I had the SE, so just a regular sedan, and it had some get up and go.
Mandy had a comment. I think you missed about Raymond.
Oh, Raymond, yes.
You didn't read that.
Raymond did that with his old truck until Mom put a stop to it. He put 2 engines in it.
I remember that old truck.
But why would you put a stop to it if the engines were, if the truck was doing what it's supposed to do, except, was it a bad engine did he just buy a bad engine, or did he just have a habit of blowing them up? But, I don't know. Back to Gary here. Gary Bennett says, my favorite was a 1972 Ranchero GT that I rebuilt and restored, a 362 Cleveland. Or you correct yourself at 351? Sorry, I just want to make sure. Let's look that one up. I'll show Aiden. This is where it's kind of cool for him to see the history of these vehicles. He can,
You want to
72
You won't be on camera. If you
Ranchero, not Canchero, Ranchero. Nice. I like that.
So is that okay? It has the back like a El Camino.
Yeah, that was Ford's answer to it.
Okay.
All right. Jessica is on board tonight. She says, just joined a few minutes ago, but my worst car was a Ford Tempo.
Said Argos?
Yeah.
Yes, or Jessica.
Cut off on Route 10 once while I was driving. Thankfully, it started right back up. Yeah, that's the problem that we were talking about with my Plymouth Satellite. It would do this, something like that.
It's kind of like the church van that time. Remember? Cut off. Remember that?
Yep.
The old van.
Oh, yes. That was in
Uh-huh.
97. Yep.
On 95. That wasn't good.
Rhonda says that Randy's first car was a 65 Ford Fairlane. He loved that car. Yes. Beautiful, beautiful car. In 51 years, Judy says, 51 years of marriage and cars, Marshalls have bought 4 new vehicles, almost 3 dozen used ones. Well, hey, I think it's just the right thing to do. Dad said he lost his car. He lost the car and a suspended license. Okay. I
That makes
just
sense.
couldn't remember what had happened. I remember the tickets, but I never thought it was as many as you said.
And had the lid removed from his foot.
Yes, that transplant took place. It was a successful surgery. Sandy says it was an SE. It was great. Yeah, I didn't have a problem with it as far as just a daily driver. Just a couple things at the end that were really what got me. And I didn't dog the car either. It was good. All right, and Sandy says she loved her Ford Escort. Wish I still had it. Yeah, the one I had, I should say, was more Dad's than anything. I don't think I ever really drove it except for right around the house. It was okay, I guess. Yeah, I'm sure I could ask Mom. She'd probably have some stories about that, Dad.
Did you already read that one?
Transmission was going out on the Malibu. Okay. All right, last question tonight on the cars. If I get this one come up here. And Aiden, you'll enjoy this one because I'm expecting you to have a great answer here. What was or is your dream car or truck? Oh, Mom to go first?
Mine's boring.
Go ahead.
Because I don't care. Just want to keep mine and have it paid off.
Okay.
And that's very dull. But I tend to be happy with what I have. And
Yeah.
I want to keep it after it's paid off for a while.
So, did you have
But-
one when you were growing up?
I don't think so. I mean, I had a Camaro for a little while. I wanted the car I have now. And you looked online for me and found it, plus a little extra stuff on it I didn't realize, and so I'm driving what I wanted.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm kind of boring. I can't think of anything.
Yeah, and this
I'm not big into cars.
right.
Now that I've driven an SUV so many years, I don't like to be low to the ground.
Right. Yeah, I think that's part of the reason you didn't like the Focus. And that makes sense. If you've been in an SUV for that long.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'll go around in a convertible. I mean, like a Mustang or a Camaro, but I don't want it for me to drive all the time.
Hayden? Me first? Well, I mean, as a kid, I guess I didn't necessarily have a dream to have a Ferrari or a Porsche or a Lamborghini like some kids. I think I enjoyed the idea of having like a Camaro. Seeing Dad with that, the '68 Z28 that he had was, like I want one of those. I think that would have been really cool. And I think if I have a car that I'd like to have come retirement years, it would be a Camaro of some sort. Ask me which model, I probably could tell you which one I wouldn't, but I think at this point I'd take whatever I could get, if depending on how that goes. But the only other vehicle that I really thought would have been cool to own, and Dad can certainly attest to it, was in 1991, GMC came out with a truck called the Cyclone. And for anybody else, it was like having an S15 or whatever. It was just like,
Fast one.
it looked like an old Chevy S10 or whatever, except that it had the engine of a Corvette in it, if I'm not mistaken. And Dad will verify that if he's still watching. But for some reason, I had a fascination with that truck. A truck that could compete with a Corvette on a drag strip. I mean, it was just incredible. I think there was a story there that Dad had about it where it would, because it had so much power, but I guess it didn't have a lot of weight in the back end. It just kind of whoop, whoop, whoop on the back tires.
You just made me think. When I remember now, before I could drive, or when I was first driving, I used to want. There were two different cars. I forgot all about it. One was like a red convertible Miata,
Oh yes.
but then I was like, I can't drive a stick very well. And then one or the white. I can't think of what it's called. Like the rabbit. What's her name in Can't Buy Me Love Drive? It was like hers. The movie Can't Buy Me Love.
Not a Volkswagen Rabbit though.
What? I don't think it was a rabbit. It was the square. It was square. It was white convertible. I don't know.
It sounds like that, but I remember Shannon used to want a Volkswagen Rabbit. I remember that a lot
No, it wasn't. It
coming out of
wasn't.
his mouth.
Anyway,
We'll go through some of the comments here.
did you say yours?
He didn't say. What's he want?
Chad's coming. Okay, he's in stock.
All right, so let me keep going through here. All the way back up. I'd missed a lot.
Yeah.
Starting with Allie wants a Tesla. No comment? Okay. I'll look to see what Aiden will say there. The Teslas, they're growing on me. I just can't decide if I'm ready to give up oil and gas
I think
like
I want to
that.
get some Tesla stock.
Yeah,
I
if
should
you
have
can
bought it
afford
when it was
Tesla, that
down.
would be kind of nice. Well, oil, yeah, but I'm talking about actual, using gasoline, petro. But anyway,
I'm with Mandy.
Mandy says anything paid off. Yes.
That's what I want. Mine paid off. I'll be
72
happy.
Ranchero. Yes, Gary. I'm looking at one right here. I think that would be a gorgeous add to the garage.
Just what you're thinking, like,
Let's see. 56 Chevy. Yeah. So Janice wants to go back to what her first car was. So that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I think there a lot of us would do that. The new Blazer. Yes.
I don't know if I've
It's
seen
funny
a
that
new one.
I'll look it up here while we're doing this. It's funny that some of the vehicles that have gone away are coming back, like the Blazer, the Bronco, and those kind of vehicles.
Jimmy read another. Oh, that's pretty.
The Dakota.
Yeah, the Dakotas will be back. Yep. What you got?
The next one, Judy said Dave would have a new F-250 crew cab with all the treats.
That's a lot of truck. That is a lot of truck.
Handle it though.
Yeah.
I think it'd be good.
That's a lot of truck.
And your dad said Dodge Challenger Hellcat.
I want the new
Exclamation point! Exclamation point! Exclamation point!
The
Huh?
dream car would be the new generation of the Mustangs, and then the old Dodge trucks with the square bodies.
Okay.
Do you want the other other
Well, I
Mustang
can't
that's
hear
out?
him.
Which one? The Mach-E?
Yeah.
You might want to.
I'm gonna work their other
This
question
great
comments in just a
Mustang.
moment, but for you guys who do love Mustangs, Aiden, say it again really loud.
The Mach-E?
The Mustang
It's a disgrace.
Mach-E. Look it up.
It's
If I can get hey, look it up and put it in the comments
It's a
for him.
disgrace to Mustang.
Yeah,
Right,
he says
right.
it's a disgrace to Mustangs, but I'll keep on going through here. But yeah, Dad, I agree with you with the Challenger Hellcat. Beautiful.
Exclamation point! Exclamation point!
Exclamation-
Exclamation point!
I would do the same thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Sandy says I've always wanted a Mustang. Looked at one, didn't want the payment.
That was nice.
Yeah, those payments. It's just we're approaching.
Anything now. is
We're
bad.
approaching like getting a house now. It's crazy.
I mean,
Okay.
past that, you see the Bugattis are worth like $5 million.
I'm not buying a Bugatti though.
I know that. I'm just saying the price.
I don't know how that would ever be in my budget.
Okay. Heather's got.
Heather says a Corvette. My dad told me that when I was in high school, he would buy me a brand new one if I made straight A's. He knew he was safe.
Heather's so.
That would have been incentive, Heather. Come on. That would actually been a test. To say,
That's hard.
let me just
I don't
see
know if I've done
if he will do that. But
that.
Judy's dream is the Jaguar SUV. Dave jumped the gun on that answer. Yeah. See, Karen's watching. Hello, Karen. And if Mickey's got some car stuff he can tell us about here.
Aiden.
Jessica says. All right, so Jessica says the Mercedes SUV.
Oh wait, you said she said what Chad
And
said.
Chad says the GT500 or Porsche 911 GT3 RS. Aiden's gone. We've lost him.
I know he lost. He didn't. So Jessica said a Mercedes SUV also.
So Mandy says Jetta. Okay.
What?
The Rabbit.
Oh.
That's what you were looking at. That's what you were thinking of. Chad says it was Rabbit.
Oh, it is a rabbit. Okay.
Yeah.
What?
We all say ooh to the Mach-E. Yes.
Chad said a GT500 or Porsche 911 GT3 RS.
Okay.
We'll see. Yeah, I agree. It's not a Mustang. You know, it may be a sedan. I don't know what it is. Gary says that. Yeah, Gary Bennett says that he's looking at a '66 Mustang now. That's for sale. Go for go for it.
They're gonna make a Mustang out
She
of a
said
truck
that's not
next.
a Mustang. I was reading them. Did I read ahead?
Then let me keep going here. 1968 Mustang is what Sandy was looking at, like Steve McQueen drove. And then what? Okay. Jessica says her dad wasn't as smart. He said A's and B's, and that's how I got my Mustang. Negotiation tactic there, I guess. We should have known you were going to be an attorney at that point. All right.
That's what we should do.
What? with him? Negotiate, give us some A's and B's, all A's. Yeah, it's got to be all A's
yeah.
for something like that. I mean, for something like that.
Janice has comment too. Went to a showroom in Anniston Saturday. Had a Corvette for $129,000.
That's just incredible. When
I'd be afraid to sit in it, touch it.
I know we're just after 8:30 here on Eastern time, 7:30 Central. When we went to Florida almost 3 years ago, we were driving down I-4 heading toward our place to stay, and leave it to Aiden, be looking around, and he's like, "Ooh, supercar store." And what it was like a Bentley or Rolls Royce place. So the next day we had breakfast and went into that store and just look around because, hey, they may never get to sniff.
I'll find it.
If you want to find it and pull it up here, we'll just show it on the camera. But we walked in there, and of course, outside you had a couple of Porsches that were there, but you had to go inside, and that's where I've never seen vehicles with a sticker price that big. Janice, you're talking about $129,000 for the Corvette. That would probably be a bargain compared to some of the ones we saw. We walked in and saw some Ferraris, of course, the Porsche. There were Lamborghinis, Bentleys, Rolls Royce, and we saw $300,000, $400,000 stickers on those vehicles. And I can't believe that, it's just hard to imagine doing something like that.
We didn't see Ferraris.
I thought there was a Ferrari in there.
McLaren.
Was a McLaren in there? Okay. See, Car Guru here tells me that I was wrong. But that's fine, because I'm kidding him. It was a McLaren that he saw. But the two stories that I remember from that visit, though, were is that there was a man who came in, and he was driving a Cadillac Escalade. And he was saying that his family had outgrown that. An Escalade. And knowing how much those are and how big they are, and yet he's coming in there to look at a luxury SUV with the likes of a Bentley or Rolls or whatever was in there.
But they weren't even big compared to
Yeah, Aiden's right. They weren't. At that point you're buying leather and I guess wood grain paneling or something. I'm not even sure what the point was other than just the name itself. The other story was that, and this is the one that the guy told Aiden because he got to ride in the Lamborghini.
The Huracan Performante.
You want to say it a little louder because I can't pronounce that.
Huracan Performante.
Huracan Performante. Mm-hmm. Okay, so he got to sit in one of those, and the guy told him a story.
Biggest smile of the whole trip.
There we go. We'll put it on as close as we can to it. This is the car he was in, and I was showing Dave and Judy this one.
I don't know if they can see him.
If you can see that, and especially if I can get close enough to where you can see the big grin on that kid's face.
I made the wrong choice though. I should have sat in the vintage door.
I don't know how close I can get. So anyway, he sits in that one, and the guy tells a story about someone he was about your age when he first came into the store, right? Mm-hmm. So about that. So Aiden would have been about 11 at that time. We go into the store. Oh, he goes into the car and sits there, and the guy says this kid comes in when he's 11, and just was in love and infatuated with these vehicles. 20 years later, he comes back in and buys.
The one that he sat in?
The buys, like one that he sat in. I mean, 20 years, and he comes up with $200,000 or $300,000 to do that. That's hard work, it's dedication, but I love the cars. They're beautiful. I just can't even get my head around trying to own one of those.
Oh, we got some more.
Yeah, I got to back up a little bit here. Let's see. Janice, you got the Corvette there. Dad said the new Z71 off-road package from factory runs around $90,000.
Oh, did you see that the Ford Broncos? They don't have Ford logos on them.
Really?
It's just like the Mustang. It's just a Bronco.
Okay.
The only Ford logo is inside in the seats or something like that. Inside.
Janice says, I hope it had a bed. I'd have to live in it. That was the thing I was saying. I would just might as well go and buy myself an Escalade or a Suburban, because at least if I lose my house, I got somewhere to stretch out.
That's
I agree.
That's
You
what I
can,
said about my car.
yeah, like with her, same thing. Yeah, if we
I mean, it wasn't that much.
if we get kicked out of the house, we lose the house. We'll try our best to all sleep with the seats down in the back of the vehicle.
My car will sit 7, so hey.
Heather Davis says, I asked a car salesman if I could test drive a Corvette. He told me no. I don't know if he said it that way. I just had to put the emphasis there. He said no. I asked why not. He said only people who are seriously about to actually buy one can test drive one. He wouldn't even let me take a spin around the lot.
Yeah, you accidentally said something. We did not drive that Lamborghini.
No, that's right. We
let
did not.
Aiden
We
sit
did
in
not.
it,
We
and
let
they
him sit
did
in it.
start it. They started it, didn't they?
No.
No, because it wasn't closed.
Somebody bought a different car outside.
Yeah.
They started. It was like
Okay.
Yeah, he did not drive it. Yeah, he didn't drive it. We didn't drive it. So sorry, bad choice of words.
Yeah, I think you said that
we
earlier.
just got to see. We got to see a Porsche and something else started.
Judy says, fun fact: one of the co-founders of Domino's Pizzas traded in his share in the company for a Volkswagen. Okay, dependable car. Some people are watching here tonight. They used to be big Volkswagen fans. So
That's good.
yeah. They there was a time where I think we would have. I mean, Volkswagens were fun to have. I mean, people like the Beatles.
Danny wanted a Beetle.
Yeah,
She can't now. There's like 6 grandchildren.
6 grandchildren and a Beetle. Who's sitting?
She's got 7 grandkids.
7 now. Yeah,
I'm not gonna count.
7. Yeah, we. All right, so thank you guys for your time tonight. Before we break away
We
from
went over
for the
talking
night,
about cars.
huh?
I said we went over talking about cars.
Hey, who would have thought that I could have gotten over an
Carrie
hour?
said
in-
she likes older bugs. And Jessica's not a VW fan, but she did love her Jetta. That Jetta was good. I never
Yeah.
drove it because I didn't drive a stick. Wasn't it a stick? No.
Yeah, it was a stick,
Was
right,
it?
Jessica? Yours was a manual transmission, correct? Like I said, manual transmissions are hard to find now. I think the ones that exist are like the Focus, the Fiesta. If Chevrolet still has a small car, they probably have one, but they're just, people now are all about automatic. There are the paddle shifters, but
She said, yes, it was.
I just don't know if paddle shifting is my thing. I think I'm a traditionalist. I want to have the 4 on the floor or 5-speed. You know,
She said Doug has it now.
let me go back. Yeah, Carrie said she liked older bugs. So I think that those would be the better ones to have. They just feel stronger. They may be smaller, but I think that'd be the best one. Yeah, you said what Jessica said, and Doug has it now.
Yeah, Carrie said. Oh,
So
okay,
Alabama
see.
is under a tornado watch until early morning. Okay, so yeah, I did see where, because of
It's crazy.
the business that I work in, we have to get weather updates across the country. So I did see where something was moving across the country. Our focus was in the plain states because of snow, and some. And I'm sure as we go further south, there was wind. So that's we'll definitely keep Alabama in our prayers.
Is that
tonight.
unusual for January?
No, the tornado that went through Jackson whenever I was in school, that was in January.
Okay.
Yeah. So. All right, so we'll keep those folks in Alabama in our prayers, and Sandy will continue to remember you in our prayers in regards to the loss of your mother. And we certainly again. We'll keep Janice in our prayers as well, the East
She
family.
didn't say it, but we will.
We'll also continue to remember our country, and not to mean to say that in a flippant or insincere way, but really mean it that way. We just want to continue to remember everyone as we're still very early into this year. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else specifically that we wanted to mention before we go into prayer.
It's sad that I can't. Nothing's popping in my head, and there's like so many. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let us bow for a word of prayer, and I'll come back on in just a few moments. Our Father, who art in heaven, we come before you tonight with thanksgiving for this last hour that we've had to just have a little fun, just talk about, things that were a part of our past, our automobiles, and Lord, we just appreciate times like this, that we can have time of fellowship amongst friends and family, and also amongst Christians. And we appreciate, Lord, just human interaction. And we know that this last year has been very difficult for many folks, as they've not been able to get out and to be with people that they've once been able to socialize with. And I pray, Father, that we'll use avenues like this to continue to reach out and to help folks, with this process. And I say process because there are folks who are still afraid to go out because of the virus, and we certainly understand. So we pray, Lord, you'll use us in whatever way we can to reach out to those who may be struggling during this time. And regarding the virus, Lord, we pray that you'll continue to be with all who are involved with the production of vaccines, those caregivers, the doctors and nurses, the first responders, that you'll be with them as they work hard to treat the patients that are hospitalized. And we're certainly thankful for their efforts over the last year. We're thankful for those who are able to make recovery, like Dad and many others that we've been praying for. But our minds and our hearts and thoughts are with those who were succumbed to it. And we are mindful of Janice and her husband Mike's passing, and we pray that you'll continue to be with the East family. We pray, Lord, that you'll be with the Compton family in Chattooga County as that family was just stricken by his loss, and others in the Penville church that lost loved ones due to COVID. We pray that you'll continue to be with Sandy and her family regarding the loss of her mother. And also, Sandy tells us that there's inclement weather in Alabama, with most of the state under a tornado watch, and we pray that anyone who might be in the path of these storms and this weather front might be spared. We pray, Father, that you'll continue to be with us and our country. We've been praying fervently over the last few weeks and months, and we ask, Father, that you'll continue to be with us, that we will, as a nation, look toward you for guidance and not look toward the ways of man or the ways of party or government, but let God provide us with heavenly wisdom in which we should be able to serve one another and look for solutions to some of our problems and all of our problems. We ask, Father, that you'll forgive us of our sins and our trespasses. And Lord, we thank you for just everything that you bless us with. For it is in your Son's name that we do pray. Amen. All right, folks, thank you so much again for tonight, for joining us. We will come back on Thursday. We appreciate everything that you guys have contributed to the show. It's been really fun talking to you all tonight. And this is our 10th show. It's hard to believe we've done 10 of these. I know it's not every night, but we want to do it the best we can as far as a balance of family and fun time. So we hope that you'll join us again on Thursday night. We'll try to bring back maybe some musical trivia, maybe even some movie trivia as well. But until we talk again, may God bless you in all you do, and I hope to see you again on that time. Thank you so much. Let's see if we can get the outro going on here. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. We'll see. Good night, everyone. Oop, we're still on. I got to take the camera off. See, this is the reason why I'm not in technology as much as this. Let's try that again. 1, 2, 3. Good night, all.